Welcome back, everyone, to Lesser Known Operators. Another 1 hour episode today, and my guest is Taylor Cavanaugh, a former French Foreign Legionnaire, former United States Navy SEAL, high vibration facilitator, and a doer connoisseur. Hope you enjoy this conversation just as much as I did. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, pass these episodes along. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the show. Taylor Cavanaugh, welcome to Lesser Known Operators.
What up? Do epic shit.
All right. That's one way to look at things, right? Make a
Yeah,
mark.
dude, I got it on my coffee cup, dude. I think my sister got this for me, dude. I was just like laughing.
You seem to be full of positivity. I do like 5 or 10 minutes of research on people.
Yeah.
And it was actually hard to find anything that wasn't about the big things that you've done, like
Yeah.
Navy SEAL, French Foreign Legion, but and now you're high performance coach, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? For
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But what I saw when I was reading all that was up and down and up and down. And
Yeah.
how I want to talk about like you. How do you handle all of that stress of
Yeah.
rising to the top of the mountain, falling to the bottom, picking yourself up back up and down again? And how do you just bring yourself to not only not worry about what everybody else is doing, because that can eat you alive,
Yeah.
but just to get yourself up every day and say, no, we gotta get back up there. We gotta keep going. How do you do
Yeah.
that?
That's a good question, Nick. And I'll tell you, it was not a fucking, some perfect mental state I was in. I would say I'm not the guy like something bad happens. I'm like, all right, let's fucking do it. Bro, I have a lick my wound period for sure, which I think that is reasonable, right? I think like if you don't really sit with, because going into the next achievement is also just a form of distraction, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to go right into positive work. Yeah, I get it. We're going to be moving in a minute, but what's really happening? And just to give you an example, when I had gotten in trouble in the SEAL teams and I had failed a performance enhancing drug test, which is really the catalyst of why I got pushed out, the zero tolerance. But dude, when the yeoman or whoever it was, and he came in and he goes, hey, man, I just want to give you a heads up. He was actually kind of helping me out. He goes, you popped hot. And I was like, for what? And he goes, for steroids. And I went, fuck. Right. And so I immediately, that's it. I get my lawyer and all this. I'm like, all right, this is going to come down the pike. But when all of it was transpiring and I was realizing, I was getting pushed out, dude, there were some days I could barely get out of fetal position. Right. I mean, I was hurting because I was like, dude, what am I going to do? But to answer your question specifically, and that wasn't the first time in my life or the last that I would go through something like that. There has to be a point where you start, when you reset the sector stake, where you reset that stake on the horizon going, okay, well, what am I going to do next? If I'm not going to hang up the cleats of life right now, then I got to do something. And so that setting of that next goal, it doesn't have to be some great purpose. It doesn't have to be some whatever, but it has to be forward movement. And that's what I think that what I do is I'm good at just starting and worrying about how I'm going to figure it out later. Let me just get moving. First, let me reset my physical body. I could tell you lift and work out, and the importance of that coming from our worlds is, usually the first thing in a time of crisis that fucking starts falling off the back of the truck is people's physical health. They just stop working out and said, I've been there. But I don't let that time period go a super long time. It might be a week of me not like doing the right shit and kind of maybe not, but then it's like, all right, well, let me reset my absolute foundational principles and then I can build from that. Physical body, nutrition. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be mindful and intentional. Then we can start putting those next professional goals and maybe doing some damage control. But first, get yourself right in the absolute core, which is your physical body. Then your clarity starts to improve and your overall frequency improves. You can't solve a problem, or it's challenging to solve a problem in a low vibrational state. Everything seems real. Like, think about times we've woken up hungover, man, and even going to the grocery store seems fucking overwhelming, right? It's like, you just barely could drag yourself there, man, because it's something so simple, but you're in such a low vibrational state that things seem way more complex than they need to be. And so that's why I say get your physical body good, get your mental clarity good, and then start working your way out.
Isn't it strange? Like the thing that makes, well, people in general, the thing that makes us feel the best is exercise. It's better than
Yeah.
any drug or anything that
Yep.
you can take and make you feel better. You can supplement with other things, but just going
Yep.
to the gym 45 minutes to an hour a day will make you feel better than everything. And it's the first thing we cut out when anything
Yeah.
goes wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Always.
your brain's like, hey, we got to get rid of this shit. We want to just shut down. We want to be
Yeah.
depressed. We got to get rid of that thing that's making us feel good. Why do we do that?
Yeah, it's an interesting human piece, and I wonder about like cavemen. Like, think about like a caveman. Did he had like a bad day? Did he just sit in the cave and fucking not hunt? Maybe. But I think about like there might be there's some our brains and the complexity of it. It's like the chemical floods, I think we overthink our current situation, and rather than just going into the reptilian mind, which is move and move and groove, get moving, right? When it's get moving is the answer to everything. It's like people sit and they try to Jedi mind trick themselves and they try to think themselves out of a situation they acted their way into. It doesn't work. You got to act your way out of a current reality. And so when you start putting those pieces, and that's a massive piece of momentum. I don't know if I had the answer to it, I'd probably be able to cure everybody's problems, right? And my own too. It's I don't know why we do it, but you know what's helpful, Nick, is being aware that we do it. That actually
Yeah.
solves the problem. Being aware that you're like, well, I'm starting to shut down and I'm wanting to cut back on the immediate things I know build my life. Let's not do that. Right? Let's be intentional and deliberate.
I think you were onto something there at the beginning when you said, Kate, and you just think back, like, we've got it pretty easy in this
Yeah.
generation, right? There's very few things, unless you seek out things to test what you're worth, or, go to a selection or go to a unit, or like even enlist, right? To make your life harder. Life 100 years ago wasn't that way. Life fucking sucked.
Yeah.
You got to pick your shit up. There's no, we're not connected like this, like we are now, where if
Yeah.
you're feeling bad, you can find all these videos to make you feel even worse now,
Yeah.
and drive that thing. So maybe it's just how we live now. If something goes wrong and we're like, it's okay. There's nothing, no animal going to come kill me. I have food. I have things to fall back on.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just the technology is changing the way we live and allowing us to feel bad for ourselves when that wasn't a way forward earlier in time, even 150, 200 years ago.
Yeah. Too safe, too comfortable. But, an interesting quote came from 50 Cent, actually. I really liked it. He said, depression's a luxury. And I was like, damn. It was like, it hit really hard because it absolutely is, man. I mean, if you have the ability to sit and be depressed, bro, your fucking life's probably pretty good, man, because you're not in immediate danger, right? It's like the caveman couldn't sit and be depressed because his tribe would die. It's like you don't have time to sit and wallow. Pain avoidance and comfort seeking are the root of almost all psychosis. Almost everything. It's pain avoidance and comfort seeking. People have anxiety because why? They're procrastinating on things and not actioning things they're supposed to be doing, or projecting too far into the future. It's all here. And they're not doing anything about it. The action alleviates anxiety. And when we start to realize that, it's fucking hard when you're in a time of crisis. That's the other piece is people think it's like, in myself, like, why can't I do this? Well, because it's challenging and your legs feel like you're walking through quicksand because your life's falling apart. Fair, right? It's like, own it. This is not going to be easy. I'm in a time of crisis. It's like, I'll remember times where my life was falling apart and I wouldn't see the point of working out, right? It just seemed futile. Like, why the fuck am I? And you go, you don't need to really understand why. Just do it, right? Like, stop thinking about what you want to do and just do the things you know you should do. And that was a huge piece for me when I started to kind of unwind that because I didn't always do that.
So back to the beginning, this, up and down cycle, the pendulum swings one way and it swings back the other. So you kind of get down and then you'd work really hard and you'd maybe overcompensate because, I mean, going from where you were to SEAL to where you went and then Legionnaire, right?
Yeah.
Those are huge paradigm shifts. Are you getting in that state of mind and then so much dedication and obsession over correction that you're going the other way and like creating your own stress to try and take care of yourself?
Yeah, and I do think it was a kind of a coping mechanism for me, is a coping mechanism to try to like pull the control back because I would feel disempowered or and in the sense that I also had some pieces of insecurity, I think, from a child where I needed to achieve or have some title to like make me feel good or something. And that was a piece that I would overcorrect and go, well, I got to be a Legionnaire and I got to be a CEO or I got to do this and all that. And it, there was a pressure in all of that, but I don't think it was the pressure that actually caused the root of the self sabotage. It was that I didn't value myself enough. I didn't value myself enough to take care of the things that I had worked towards. And I also was just immature. I didn't understand the repercussions of small decisions. And I had lacked self awareness on a massive scale, which was a huge sign of intelligence. So I was not very intelligent with some of the things I'd do. And like, okay, ego, that's another piece was wrapped up in there. And like, I'll be okay. I don't really need to, I don't need, I'll handle it, or, well, it's all good until it's not. And and I also wasn't being strategic, right? Is this decision something that could really fuck everything up? And that goes personal life, professional life. Like, is this one of those decisions? Like, well, let's not do that. If it's if I'm not willing to deal with the worst case scenario here, and I just hadn't thought through those pieces. I'll tell you what, though, in the Foreign Legion is when I started to unwind that part in the barracks room when I had that other title, only SEAL Legionnaire, and I realized nobody gives a shit. And
Especially in
I
the
realized,
civilian
I'm like,
world.
who am I proving this to? And that's what, when I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna live well and see what happens. And then when I started doing that, my life got better.
Yeah, you realize, especially when you get and then you become a civilian, nobody cares.
Yeah,
It's cool that you did all these
yeah,
things, but they don't care. I mean, it's a thing you're based off of different metrics, and we've kind of lost what those are because we were off doing fun shit
yeah,
for
yeah,
us on this other planet. But
yeah,
one part in there, and I've talked to other people that have lost their special forces tab, and they were just unlucky. Like,
yeah,
and I, I'm not. This isn't calling anybody out. If you're a Green Beret or you're Special Forces or something, and you have judgment on anybody that lost their tab or their trident or anything, fuck you, because
yeah,
you are only one decision away at any given
yeah,
time in your career from the same shit happening to you. So
yeah,
I don't hold much weight to that shit. I'm like, shit happens, and you could have got pulled over that time you drove home, or you could have, when you were reacquiring something for your inventory, you could have got
yeah,
caught.
yeah,
So I don't hold too much into that unless it's something very egregious. I just don't care
yeah.
because I believe, that whole we operate in the gray. Well, sometimes it's in the black.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we take that into all facets too, man. It's guys who are soft guys, or guys in the special operations world, bro. We our risk management is high, our tolerance for it, and so we carry that into all these different areas. Dude, we're masters at risk management. That's what we do, right? That's what we do, and so we look at things differently than the average Baron, dude. It's like dudes ride the lightning, ride that line in a lot of capacities, and I'll tell you what, guys that have lost their tab, and I've worked with some of them, and on the Green Beret side and SEALs and stuff. It's a pain that is not many people know. That there's like it's a pain that even in the civilian world, it's not like losing your job, man. It's not like getting fired. Like you almost died for this and spent your whole life. Like it's a because it's not really a title. It's like your identity. It's very tied in, as we know from our echo chambers, the worlds we roll in, how it is. And it's like having a part of you removed at the time that you think, right? And so it's interesting when I talk to those guys because it's there's like a a common knowledge of no, they're like, yeah, yep, I know what that shit's like. Because I also work with guys who I'll show you an SAS, some fucking SAS guys in England. It happens to them too, man. Right? And it's that same fucking. They're like, yep, fucking sucked. You know?
Yeah, that's a definitely a club you definitely don't want to get membership to.
Yeah, no, dude,
But the,
you don't want to be a part of that fraternity, man. But it happens, and it's interesting talking to guys because it's a pain you don't want to have to push off of from again.
yeah, and the only people that are going to understand are people in the same boat, or the battalion shrink who's been
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
who sees it more than anybody else.
yeah,
Uh, I I don't, and that's part of the show. Like, I don't overextend my experience. I I understand what you're going through, but I don't know. I wasn't there with you. I don't know. I wasn't being read, the Article 15 or shit, like, or however it went for
yeah,
you. But I understand. Like, and
yeah,
it's, I worked my ass off to get to where I was, and then fucking training accident, support, medically retired. And I go, well, fuck, that
yeah,
is painful. And then
yeah,
you go back to the civilian world and you're like, I don't want to fucking be here.
yeah,
Is, how did you feel when you get to a place and you're like, I never expected to come back at this point in your life? I didn't
yeah,
expect to come back to this life. How'd you feel
yeah.
there?
It was interesting because I would have stayed in career. I loved it.
Yeah,
I fucking
absolutely.
loved it, dude. But I was like, man, this is exact. I didn't have any desire to get out. I was very happy. I saw screening for the next level. I was started that process when this shit popped off, and at least getting packets early on. But then, maybe you stay in and go master chief or go officer or something. I was like already making those plans, and so when this happened, it was shit, man. And I I thought I was handling it good, but I wasn't. And this is what I think actually gets guys is they don't realize that they're actually transitioning poorly. And I did because what I saw as a normal day was not somebody's normal day. Like I kicked it off with I was taking Adderall every day and fucking Xanax at night, and then I started drinking at night every day to kind of take the edge off. And next thing I know, I'm like, dude, I'm a civilian, dude. I don't really have to show up for training. I just got to show up and work. And I was in a pretty decent job, but I was sipping vodka in the gym at 5 p.m. Right? I'm like, hey, bro, I'm done. Like that got normalized, and now I'm drinking in a tumbler of fucking vodka, totally not thinking it's weird, and doing that for every day, right? And not really like sloppy, whatever, but just not my best self, and definitely my emotional regulation was terrible. I was showing up late to things. I was just not dialed in, man, and stretching myself thin. My chi was thin, and also had a bunch of financial issues because I had been, stacked all those court dates and shit. So I was trying to rectify just a lot of pressure. The relationship was falling apart. I was violent. I was fucking not a person that I would want to rely upon. And that all came crashing down, right? And so that what I was a little bored, maybe. Like I was doing supervising for a residential build, and it was a good career. It would have been a great career. I actually liked doing it in retrospect, but I was just kind of like, fuck, dude. I was just not in the right state of mind to go into that. And it really showed, man. It really, it exacerbated over time that I didn't want to be there. And so then I ended up going back, and then I didn't want to be there either. So it's like, where do I want to be? And that was what I had to realize. Oh, I'm everywhere. I gotta be right.
Yeah. When I talk to people, there's a point in your career where everything's just clicking, right? And everything's going right. And there's not enough time in the day. You wake
Yeah.
up, you can't wait to get to work, and you're loving what you're doing. And then when you get into bed, you can't wait to fall asleep so you can wake up and do it again. And then one day
Yeah.
it just fucking stops. And then you go,
So
well,
true, dude. I've never heard
well,
it put like that. That's very
and it,
true.
and then you're looking around and go, what the fuck happened? Where is
Yeah.
it? And you're like, I can't find it. And then you spend years trying to find that shit, and it's gone. You didn't
Yeah.
appreciate it when you had it. And
Yeah.
then you go, fuck, I wish I would have taken some pictures at least. I don't even have any fucking pictures.
Yeah. That's really well, Nick, that's really well described. I never heard it said like that. But even in any guy's career, everybody, very few people get out of special operations units smooth. Like, nobody goes, all right, you know what, I'm done. How many people do you know that? Not very many that just like clock out. It's always injury,
Truth of
something
it,
bad happens,
yeah.
arrest, like because and that's that when it stops. And it's like maybe it's destiny or God kind of pushing us in a different direction, which I think it's some of that. And got to clear the way for the new heads, right? The youngins coming up, dude. It's like, think about like an NFL player, right? Think about NFL players. It's like, dude, at some point they're not making the roster, and they were the shit. Like it's weird. It's like all of a sudden now they're third string when they were all pro. When and then they just get pushed out. Now they're not making the team, and they were the best player out of college or some shit. It's fucking crazy, dude. When you think about it.
You could, and even with life, right? You don't notice the slow descent into mediocrity or into
Yeah.
hell,
Oh man,
basically,
that's
right?
good. Yeah.
And you're at a high level, and you're at a high level until you're not, and then
Yeah.
you and then you're trying to chase it, and you can't overcome that point of diminishing returns, right? You just
Well,
keep
yeah.
going down,
Diminishing returns. That's a good point.
and then all of a sudden you're like, well, fuck, and then you weren't ready. And I mean, I would say almost to the person that come on here and that we really get into a conversation, fucking undiagnosed traumatic brain injury, drinking problems, or problems at home. One of those
Yeah.
three, and then the other fuel into that, and they all come together into like this self-destruction cocktail
Yeah.
of like,
Yep.
I'm gonna ruin my life because I'm so miserable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's um it's an interesting point when you get kind of confronted with, and some guys never get there, but it's so important that guys come to the point where, and I'm going to introduce you to Terry, dude. I think you guys can connect, dude. He was at Green Beret, but he's awesome. But he had that point where he kind of the drinking and realized, and I did too. Oh, I have to fix this. I have to fix this. I have to correct. I'm the issue. It's not anybody else. And I don't know. Some guys never get there, unfortunately, and just kind of run themselves into the ground. But the guys that do get there sooner than later, bro, that's empowering. When you realize that you're the problem, you can actually solve it. If it's something external of you, oh, I'm not happy. I don't. I'm in terms of like, oh, I don't have the career I want, or not making the money I want, or whatever it is, some external thing of you, or my wife's a fucking bitch, or whatever people say, right, dude? That you're giving the power away to everything else. Everything. You can't fix anything that way. When we start to become empowered, it's a word that's overused, but it's so true because it's accountability, ownership, and then action. Man, once you start correcting it, now you realize that you're the common denominator. You're the engine that drives all of it. You're the engine that drives your clarity and your fulfillment or lack of or whatever. It's like, dude, that's me. I love my fiance and my family, but none of them are contribute to my happiness or my sadness. I can't allow it. Right? It's like that's what I had to learn, that I had to hold all these cards to myself so that I could be better for everybody else. Right? It's this good good positive feedback loop. And yeah, it is when you don't address the vices and you don't address the thought process behind them. That's like really the truth. It's like, why am I kind of drinking every day? Why? Like, it's because you're not setting the next goal, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it was a not even a psychological thing to kind of cut back on that stuff. It was, bro, I started recording it on my app, how many calories it was. Dude, it was like, bro, it was like 1,500 calories a day in like vodka. Dead serious, like probably more. And I was like, God damn. And I wasn't fat by any means, but I'm like, no reason, no wonder I can't like get more gains and shit. It was like as simple as that.
Oh, that brings back, yeah, I forgot about that. I noticed I was taking in too much sugar with my vodka lemonades. So I
Yeah,
just Oh man, I switched to sugar-free lemonade, and that allowed me to drink more. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was like, man, I'm drinking too much sugar. So I was like, look at this. I didn't look at the vodka, like, look
Yeah,
at how much vodka I'm
yeah,
drinking. I'm
yeah,
like, look at all this sugar I'm taking in. So I just picked up the sugar-free one. And I was like, all right, we're good to go. And
yeah,
then it's like that solved the problem for like a year or some shit. I'm
yeah.
like, oh my God. Like thinking back, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You were drinking like
Dude,
a
mine
bottle of
mine was
vodka a
watermelon
day.
juice and vodka. I would drink I would drink like fresh pressed watermelon juice with vodka and ice, and it tastes delicious. But I would be like, ah, dude, I'm just hydrating. Fucking fruit, dude.
It's all
It's
natural.
like,
It's all natural. It's potato
it's all,
juice and watermelon juice, and
I'm like,
put them
bro, it's all
together.
natural, dude. It's like, it's funny the way we can justify things, but it's like, bro, it's just a ton of empty calories. You're inflamed, right? It's like, it's just not good overall. And it's not to mention the psychological effects. It's just, and it's like, it's boredom. It's like, for me, I was like bored or something. And cause I didn't have true purpose. And so I was just kind of like living in the now. Yeah, I was working and I had like, I call them micro goals. I was kind of like, all right, I'll kind of maybe work here and just do enough to kind of get by. And I was like, dude, for guys like us, we have to set big goals, man. We do. We need stuff that really involves all of us because we're kind of all in motherfuckers. And and a lot of operators get what I'm saying. It's like we go hard in the paint in a lot of directions, and so we got to go hard in the paint our own success. Really, like half-assing it is just not going to cut it. And the guys that do just kind of go, oh, I'll just kind of just kind of work and get by, dude. They tend towards that pleasure seeking just to give them a little bit of that fucking oomph.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm seeing in the guys that are out, that are becoming, I guess the word influencers, right, in the
Yeah,
sphere. That's a fucking selection slash Q course slash indoctrination in itself, right? First, you got to
yeah,
take the step to start the social media and what you want to do.
yeah,
And then you have to build the following of people that like your content. And then you
yeah,
get to the level where you're fitting in with these guys. That's a fucking tough road to go to get
yeah,
there. And I'm like, I fucking love this. I get to meet all these cool people that have these
yeah.
cool stories and create my own stress. And everybody's so fucking helpful. But you're also sitting at your desk 10, 12 hours a day trying to make funny reels or inspire
Yeah,
people. Talking to your
yeah,
fucking cell phone in the woods is fucking awkward.
bro. But it's important because also there's no, what do they say? You want to make $1 million, shake a million hands. Well, fucking, this is the best way to shake a million hands. And what are you doing, right? You want to make $1 billion, right? Solve a billion people's problems, right? There's the information and the wisdom that we gather from what we've done and kind of gone in through selections, and also failure. That's the piece that people want to hear and they resonate with because, dude, a lot of people don't resonate with fucking fast roping or like going in, but they want to hear about how you fought through failure and things that didn't work out, because that's what we all deal with and everybody deals with on a day-to-day basis. They don't want to. Nobody resonates with the super hit man that fucking never had any problems or frictions. It's like, okay, cool story. uh, have fun up there on your high horse. But it's like, dude, when you get down in the trenches with people and you're like, hey, dude, I was suicidal, man, and like drinking every day and felt like my life was over. Like, and here's how I solved my problem, dude. That resonates because motherfuckers get that. They're like, oh yeah, I'm in that point now, or I need to fix myself. And talking to your phone in the woods, bro, it's a beautiful thing because what are you sharing? You're sharing wisdom, man, right? You're sharing, and that and when we get past ourselves, when we get past our own insecurities and we realize, no, the content's not for you, it's for everybody else, man, you really can start to tap in and flow through that flow state and content and become that conduit from God and the universe to really send things with no fear. You're like, hey man, here I'm at, and here I'm just sending this, and I'm not overthinking this. This is stuff that's going through me to you, things I've learned, and there's really not more of an authentic space. Like, people can say social media is fake. Yeah, it can be. It can also be the realest shit around, right? It can also be the most real shit you've ever seen. And it depends how you use it. It's a powerful tool, just like a weapon system. Fucking can be used for a lot of damage, but also it can, free people and save people and protect people. It's how you use it, man. And so I choose to use this thing as a powerful tool, and I know you do too. And you're absolutely right. It's like minds. And here's the thing: the influencer space in the operator world or military, it's not that big. But when you realize because of the things you actually have to be good at, the stuff you just listed, Nick, the discipline of sitting down and doing it, the dealing with rejection, the dealing with insecurity, the keeping yourself talk good, staying diligent on the fucking content and the messaging. You have to be able to talk. You have to have charisma. You have to have follow through. You have to have all these different things that a lot of people just they might start, but they won't finish. It's a crucible, bro. Absolutely.
And for people listening, right, whatever space you're in, the people that are getting the most attention, yes, there's fields where you have to be the fucking best, right?
Yeah.
Most fields, if you just outwork the other people or outlast them, you're going to get to the top or close to
Yeah.
the top or some level of success that other people can't comprehend if you
Yeah.
just keep at it. Like that's most of the people out there. You get good repetitions. If you just keep doing something over and over, you'll get good at it along the way. And then all of a sudden, oh, you've been doing it for all these years and everybody else fucking went and did something else.
Yeah.
They're like, I give up.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any reward here. Well, fuck, what are you in it for? Are you in it for gratification? Or are you in it for yourself to build something that you're going to be proud of?
Dude, it's that aggregate work, the volume, right? It's like when I started my YouTube and shit, dude, it starts from zero,
Yeah.
right? But now I have 700, almost 800 videos, right? And it's like, it's and being diligent about being like my uploads and this and that. It's not, you don't always have to feel like doing it. You can be tapped in, but it's also hard to work into your schedule. Life comes up. And Andy Frisella says something great. Think of the first form guy. Bro, he says, you start something, you're competing against 1,000 people. A year later, you're competing against 100. A year later, you're competing against 10. And then a year after that, you're competing against 3. With that same level of experience, you're competing against 3 people, which was 1,000. Why? Because you just didn't stop. So my whole thing when I started, I was like, well, I'm just going to start this thing. And in a hospital in France, I kind of just started my social media and just started practicing, speaking, and doing this and sharing some information. And I was speaking to my mom and my aunts, for like a year. It's like I was getting ripped off by guys in the Legion, some Ukrainian guys. Oh, you some vlogger? I'm like, no, man. Well, I didn't really care. And you have to have that confidence in self and vision at first, and then you get the results, and then people go, okay, and then it's like, but then not changing why you started, right? Not changing not deciding to do something different when it becomes inconvenient. Keeping hitting that hammer, hitting that fucking anvil again and again and again and again. Relentless. The relentless pursuit, that tenacious approach to this shit it's only going to set you up for success. Why not see how it works out if you keep going? Why not? It's like, fuck how many views you get. And that's the other thing about people. They'll go, oh, this one got more views, so I'm going to do more of that. Fuck that. I never approach it like that, ever. I'm like, dude, I only do what I think in my gut I feel like putting out. That's it. I don't care about the views. Yeah, it's nice if they're high, but I don't give a shit. I'm not wrapped up in the results, like you said. I'm in love with the process of doing it. Let's see where it goes, because so many people have all these different fucking angles and, oh, do this or do no, dude. I'm not trying to get into all that cutesy stuff, dude. It's like I'm just gonna keep doing what I know I'm doing and just stay the course.
Yeah. A quote I've said on here a few times, right? Grant, U.S. Grant, he said, I don't care what the enemy does out of my sight, or I don't give a damn what the enemy does out of my sight. Not
That's
that
good.
the other people are the enemy, but you're not in
Yeah,
competition with them. You just fucking
yeah,
do your thing and you can't worry about, like, when I was scrolling and looking for content about you and I got down to one page and all these podcasts and I'm like, big name, big name, big name. I'm like, I didn't get discouraged. I went, fuck, I get to get lumped in with them. That's
yeah,
awesome. You know,
yeah,
instead of like, oh, I'm just one of many. No, fuck that. I got different listeners than those people do. I'm creating my own
yeah.
fucking thing. Like,
That's the thing.
what?
You have a whole totally different angle.
Yeah, I I've now for the SEOs, I got to use the tagline. Otherwise, people, it's not going to get in there. But I don't interview the same, and I don't listen to their stuff. I do a different show than they do, and we're different people. I'm
Yeah,
supportive of them, but I don't give a fuck what they're doing, and they don't really care about what I'm doing. But also,
yeah,
that's that. I want to go back to one thing that you said though, like with suicidal and alcohol, like
yeah,
and I try to bring this up to people for them to realize a lot of people are suicidal and they won't admit it because they're trying to drink themselves to death because they're too afraid to kill themselves. So
yeah.
they're
That's
just
powerful.
fucking subconsciously trying to kill themselves. So if you're like, maybe I have a problem or something like that, there might be something else going on there where you're just too afraid you're in so much pain, but you don't want to get out of it. So you're just like, I'll just numb the pain. Well, you're fucking killing yourself. You're trying to kill yourself and you're not even aware of it.
Yeah, it's
So
it's you're giving up. I always ask guys, have you given up? And what does that mean? Have you stopped trying to be better? That's what I call giving up, right? Have you stopped trying to achieve things? Are you allowing your past achievements to overshadow your goals? That's my thing. Is I'm like, bro, I got what I'm proud of what I've done, but dude, that is small potatoes to what I'm trying to do. That's how I view it. And I wasn't always that way. And I think once guys, bro, it's like it. If some guy's sitting at home and he's just, maybe an operator or something, he's just drinking or whatever, I'm taking care of the family. Yeah, cool. But that's the baseline. That's expected. What are you trying to build now? Especially guys that are type A and hardcore motherfuckers. Bro, do you want to start a business and build a different lifestyle and you're not doing it? Well, then guess what? You're fucking giving up, right? You got to start into these things and we got to start walking into that fear or else we're giving up. There's either progress or regress. There's no stagnant in nature. If you think you're stagnant, you're backsliding. You're going back. We got to be moving forward, dude. Is your diet a little tighter today than it was yesterday? Right? Are you pushing the intensity a little bit? Are you trying to still set those physical goals? If you're not, you're backsliding. Are you trying to do something different, professional or your relationship, man? Are you trying to make that better? Are you trying to be more deliberate about, or your faith? All these pieces, these pillars. If you're just kind of going home and going through the motions, dude, you're fucking living. You're dying a slow death. That's what you're doing. So at least be honest about it,
yeah,
right? At least be honest about it because but ownership is what it's all about. You'll either change it or at least be realistic about where you're at.
yeah. Past accomplishments, right? I thought when I got out, all the good I was gonna do was gonna be in that uniform.
Yeah,
And I've done so much other cool shit since I gotten out. And you have to realize those shit. Like I get up in front and talk to people, and people ask my advice about things, and I got my own little thing going on and trying to build something. And I'm like, fuck, that's cool,
yeah,
Fuck, and what'd you do in uniform? I was this, but that's not. I do use it as a stepping stone for an
yeah,
introduction. Like that's who I am, and I try to represent that regiment well. But I do a lot of cool shit in a polo now and jeans. Fuck,
yeah, yeah, dude. And here's the thing: is the best work's done, bro. Look at great politicians and stuff from like the ancient world, dude. They were all warriors who went into the civilian world and did shit. Right? At some point, you want to use your achievements and your wisdom as the platform to get on stage and make change. Right? It's like that's why who better to lead men than guys who have actually, you know, gone to the apex of what masculinity is apparently. And I'm kind of using that loosely, but at least the type,
yeah,
right? There's a lot of wisdom and learn from that because like what I said before, you experience a lot of failure going through selections. You also have to power past a lot of self-doubt and a lot of physical pain and a lot of things that you are just pretty exceptional. Any military pipeline, you're going to get your dick kicked in and, smashed in the dirt and shit's hard, but it makes something of yourself. So be proud of it and then use it as the platform, as the stepping stone to the next thing. And that's that progression up the hill, right? The path to paradise is uphill. What you're doing should be hard. It should be challenging. You should have self-doubt. Like, how do you start a podcast? How do you fucking reach out to people? How do you actually, like, all these things are things you had to figure out. And then it's, all right, can I stay diligent when other people would give up? Can I stay motivated? Can I stay fucking focused on the goal? These are all things that are daily, and that's forever. It's like somebody wrapping their identity up as an NFL football player. Bro, what's he going to do for the rest of his life from his 30s on? It's the same thing for operators, bro. It's like, dude, that's not your whole life. That's a season, a chapter in your life. Some's longer, some shorter, whatever. But at some point, you're the man. You're not the badge. You're not the uniform. You're not any of that. Like, who are you? And like when people ask, who are you? Like, I always ask guys to do a 2 to 3 sentence little write up of who they are, not what they do, who they are. And I think that's an important piece, because a lot of times as men, we're like, oh, I'm this, insert title, right? It's like, well, we wrap up. Yeah. And I understand achievement's important, but it's like, who the fuck are you? Like, beyond that. And that once we get that healed and kind of clear, and we do it off daily habits, it's super helpful. And our faith and kind of what we're all about, man, the rest of it starts to fall into place, and those professional wickets start to line up.
You've been at the top, you've been knocked down, and you're in a great place now, right? And in your bio, you have Navy SEAL, French Foreign Legion. Do you think there's any responsibility on the influencer, in your case, in your part, to uphold any sort of standards or example if you're going to use those things as a part of what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm cognizant of that. And so I'm even, cognizant of, I mean, there's things I don't say about both areas because I know it's like I want to keep things professional, right? There's things that I don't dip into that I think is just responsibility, but also on my own personal actions. Dude, you're never going to see me cheat, lie, steal, fucking any of this stuff from anybody that does business with me or whatever, or my fiance. Like, you're never going to see immoral action from, as best I can, right? I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty damn locked on, I would say. And I have a lot of long-term friendships to prove it, that my honor matters. And so I would say living in an honorable way, true honor, like with closed doors, open doors, all that shit. That's my responsibility, because you're using the title. You are that. People are going to associate, okay, that's a Navy SEAL, right? I've already fucked that up before, right? And that's the piece. It's like, I have to tell some stories about fucking things up. That's why I always tie it to a lesson. Always tie it to how painful it was, and always tie it to don't do this shit, right? Don't be here and do these things, and then it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get burned. And so I'm using those incorrect actions because I fucked that honor up before, right? I ruined that opportunity. I fucked that responsibility up. And so now it's like me trying to correct it by improving men and women by, hey, here's where I was, here's the things I've done, and here's what I've learned, and here's where I'm at now. Here's how I solved my problems, and then here's the beautiful life I live now because of living in alignment with the authentic voice of God, the universe, right? Correct karma, all those things. That's my responsibility now.
Couple whys here. So why become a Navy SEAL?
Yeah, bro, I felt like that was my calling. As a young kid, I knew, I was like, damn, you could be like a commando, dude. Damn, right? It was like bad. I was like, holy shit, that's a real job. So, and some people will go into, well, I wanted to try the hardest thing, and maybe there's some of it, but it just, the rooted reason was I knew it was elite. I knew it was the type of job I wanted to be in, and that's what I wanted to do. And so it's like I didn't really want to serve in the regular military. Really, I wanted to be around guys that wanted to get after it. That was probably the root of it. I wanted to be at the tip of the spear, or what I thought was the tip of the spear, from the inception.
From the beginning, though, going through the process and then getting there, did you have any idea what you were getting yourself into, though? Because I know on our side, like, we'll get to, you go to selection, but you don't fucking know about the course. And then you get to the
Yeah.
course and you don't know anything about group. And then you get to group and go, nobody told me about this. This is fucking
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I I would say I had a no, I didn't really know because I don't know what a SEAL team's like. I was pleasantly surprised. I would say I really liked the culture. I had no real understanding of what I was getting into. I really liked the culture of the SEAL teams, definitely on the West Coast. I liked it. I liked the location. I'm from San Diego, so it was all kind of tied in. I was really happy about the training, the selection, because it was things that the running sucked, but for the most part, I was okay at the stuff that they really put heavy emphasis on, the swimming and shit like that. So and the people I met, I was so pleasantly surprised of with the high quality motherfuckers I met. Some still operating at the tip of the spear now as team leads and whatever are just solid motherfuckers that I'm honored to call me friend. Seriously, I look up to the people that I befriend, and like I'm impressed by them still. And so it's like an honor because I went into the SEAL teams being like, how do I measure up? And maybe this is the same for you, Nick. I'm like, do I measure up in this? Can I be that? Because it's like this title and this thing, and it's like, you being a Green Beret or a SEAL, it's like, man, am I that? It's like you think maybe you could, but you don't have proof. When you're a kid coming up into the selection pipeline, you're like, I think I am, but it's like when you're there and then you're kind of on a peer level with people, dude, it was really, it felt good, man. It really did.
Uh, I can admit for everybody listening at home, I could not be a Navy SEAL. A Navy SEALs could have done possibly some of what I did, but I ain't getting in that fucking pool and
Yeah.
doing a lot of that shit. Like, I no, I'm good.
Yeah. Bro, that water stuff is humbling for a lot of people. Thank God that's where probably my strong suit. So it was for me that was like a break. Like the pool evolutions were and the swimming was where I excelled tremendously. So it was like it was exactly what I felt what I was like kind of paired with well because the running and the rucking and stuff, I'm just not great at it, dude. I'll keep trucking, but it's just not what I'm great at, man. The rucking and stuff that would have smoke checked me in the pipe in the Q course, man.
Really? Yeah, I guess that's why there's different branches and different things.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, and good on everybody that makes it to the top. But the people that are going to succeed and get to where they want to go, those are the people that are going to get there no matter what. They're going to find a way. They're like, I'm
yeah,
deficient in this. I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to figure out how to pass. And they're going to pass no matter what, whether they have to do something remedial or what have you to pass the certain class or go the route that they get taken. Like, I just wanted to fucking. I had this vision of what the military was, and then I was always trying to find it. And when I got to group, I was like, "Yep, this is kind of what I was looking for."
yeah.
So, or,
And you brought up a good point about that tenacity and that grit of like finding a way. That's what I'd say of all operators is a very common thing, or most operators is this undeniable will to figure it out in any way, whether it be getting your paperwork, your administrative shit approved. In my case, that was a lot of it was trying to actually get in the military was extremely hard. I'm sure getting your stuff approved to go back. There's also that piece. It's like I'm gonna figure it out. Then you get there and there's these physical tests. It's like for me, running was terrible. So I'd be like pairing up with the fastest runner, going, dude, if I bog down, start pushing me, man. Like let's get it. And figuring out a way to make it happen, and then giving it everything you got, leaving it all on the table. I think that word's used a lot in a lot of ways, like, oh, give it everything you have. But like, I know you know what I mean going through like giving it everything, like you'll die. Like I'll give everything, I'll die out here before I fucking don't pass this thing. It's like, I will just give it everything I have. And guess what? We take those lessons because we've tapped into those that well. We can pull from it with
yeah,
this stuff, right? Well, on the civilian side, you're like, bro, my plan B is making sure plan A works. It's like, that's my plan B, dude.
yeah. I said it's like a cheesy saying, right? And I try to word it like this. The saying is failure is not an option, and I word it as it just wasn't a thing. It was show up and
Yeah, yeah,
pass.
yeah,
That
yeah,
what that was it. That was the only two things you had to do: get to the school and then graduate the school. That's all you had to
yeah,
do. There was no like failing or not meeting the standard. It was that's it. The only two things in line was start and finish, and there just
yeah.
wasn't anything else. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah, I like that. Yeah, you're
fuck,
like, I don't no, it's not, there's no
there's no
wording for it.
cheesy saying. It's just like that's what I'm here to do. And
Yeah,
then when I'm off, and no, man. I mean, we all fucking fuck up, and we all get close to fucking up. Like in the course, I was this close a couple times to getting dropped for shit, but it never became an issue. It never got to that threshold.
yeah,
Everybody gets to that point, and you just gotta make things work for your path, and you need no matter what. Like we make our own luck, right? That's with practice and planning and all this other stuff. But you fucking get lucky sometimes, and you get
well, dude,
unlucky.
I remember, like, I'll give you a great example of just like, so I failed an obstacle course. I don't know if I was having a bad day and I just hit the ropes weird and my hands were smoked by the end of it. And on like the monkey bars, they're out on the by the Pacific Ocean, dude. They get all this wet on them, so they come super slippy. So I slipped off and fell and failed, and I was like, motherfucker, right? And so I'm in like second phase at this point. So I'm going, dude, never go. That's not going to happen again. I'm going to make damn sure because I was, dude, I was up on board. Like if you fail another one, you're getting rolled, possibly dropped. So I was like, I woke up early as shit when I went out with this other guy and I dug out all the holes to make everything open up. And I took tape, like athletic tape, and taped up all the bars with fresh white tape. And so and then when I went out there, dude, my sticking to them, dude, just like, it was like one of my best times. But it's like those small things are what people who just will not, they're like, well, what can I control? What small thing can I stack the deck in my favor, dude? And who knows? That might have been the reason I actually passed and somebody else passed or whatever. But it's like, are you even thinking to do those things? That's the thing is people
Yeah.
will be like, wake up, well, I hope I pass. Fuck hope. I'm going to try to make damn sure. It's like, what do I got to do that's actually in the gray area,
Yeah,
to
in the
like
gray area.
make sure this shit happens, man.
And anybody can do that. It's just you gotta whatever you're trying to do. And if you consider yourself to be a normal person or fucking you want to be a high performer, think about what you can do to influence the things that are uncontrollable to put them at least leaning towards your side. Um, and last one before we get to 5 questions: do you think you did anything special that anybody else can't do?
No, I don't.
Fuck yeah, man. I would hope you'd say that because if you didn't, that's kind of a shitty thing to no. No.
Yeah. Well, no, there's no way. Totally. I'm not particularly exceptional physically or mentally. I think I have a lot of weak moments and stuff. And so I definitely think there's more capable individuals that definitely could do it. Just having the will or the scenario to do it.
Yeah, to stick it out. Well, I got
Yeah.
5 questions here, and then I'll cut you loose.
Yeah, brother.
What's your response to thank you for your service?
I say thank you. Appreciate it. You know?
Thank you back.
Yeah. That's generally what I'd probably say.
What's the one characteristic that sets operators apart from the conventional forces?
Master the basics. Master the basics. That's all the difference is between a special operations unit and an infantry. It's we master the basics. We master pulling from the holster and shooting. We master shoot, move, and communicate with the 3-4 man movements. We master all those pieces and like weapons manipulation, all those things. Moving into a house, it's the basic 2-man entry, right? It's like we master the basics and then we build from there. But like as you know from going through lots of cells, it's just master the basics at a high level.
What's the one moment of your career that you wish you could go back and relive or redo, and it won't change where you are now?
Graduating from SQT was cool. That was a fucking cool day, man. Like going out with the boys and stuff after. That was fucking cool, man. A really culmination of a lot of hard work.
Similar to what you said? Was it you said? But was it graduation from which one?
Yeah, SEAL qualification training when you actually get your
Okay.
pin. Yeah, you're
Okay.
Budweiser, and you're about to go to a team. That day is cool because we were graduating in the summer. Summer in San Diego, dude. You're in your dress whites, and then everyone goes out and fucking paints the town red. It was fun, man.
Yeah, similar for us, getting the beret and stuff like that.
Yeah, I bet you that's a powerful moment, man. And
It's fun.
living a life where you have powerful moments like that is fucking cool.
That one's not the top for me. When they told me I was selected, that I could go to the course, that one was it. Like I just can
I can
close my
see that.
eyes and be sitting back there, like I get to go fucking try and do it now. Like, yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool, man.
What's the best piece of advice that you received during your career?
Man, I wish I would have taken some of the advice I got. And I probably would have had a longer career. It's keep your head up. Keep your head up. That was a guy passing in passing said that to me. He said, "No matter what happens, man," he goes, you had a good board, man. You really owned your shit." He goes, "But keep your head up." And through this, and that was at a low time, right? But it was a good reminder. Just no matter what, bro, walk like a warrior. That's what he said. Walk like a fucking warrior, right? Shoulders back, head up. No matter what you're going through, man, it'll get you through anything.
Last one. What were you afraid of then, and what are you afraid of now?
Say I'm afraid of the same thing still. Terrified of being fucking average. Fear, man. I'm terrified of being average, man. And that manifested itself with going into selection and speaking in the early days, is fearful of failure. And now I'm fearful of, I'm not doing enough or failing or dropping the ball somewhere. And so I try and I mitigate those fears by being really disciplined and tenacious and strategic about what I'm doing and correct with my daily habits and my mindset. So fear of failure, to be direct, is probably what I'm still afraid of, or not living up to my potential.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a great job in mitigating that potential as much as you can. Taylor, tell everybody how they can find you on the socials.
Nick, I appreciate it. Everybody can always reach me at my website, taylorcavanaugh.com. It'll have the story, and those contact forms go directly to me. So I don't AI anything, and all that email goes to my direct personal email. Also on my Instagram, TCAV official, I do daily workouts and reels and positive shit. And my YouTube, Taylor Cavanaugh, TCAV TV. We can dive into the deeper principles. We'll have long form gym sessions, and we just kind of mix it up on there. And can always drop something in the comments. I read everything.
I have noticed that you do. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. You got anything for me?
Nick, dude, keep hammering, bro. You're doing the right thing, man. You got a good message and you got a good flow. So I'd say just keep hammering, man, and we'll see you at the top.
We're going to try and get there. I really appreciate that, man. Bye, everybody.